War Party Ops, Henry Big Boy Revolver, and 357 Magnum. Welcome back, guys. I'm Ethan with War Party Ops, and today we're going to be looking at the Henry Repeating Arms Big Boy Revolver. This revolver features a 4-inch barrel. It's capable of holding 6 rounds. It has a 6-round capacity of 38 Special or 357 Magnum. This gun's finish is called, it's a blue steeled finish. I don't know if it's traditional bluing, however it does kind of look like traditional bluing. It also is sporting like a 2-piece design where the back strap, the back strap and the front strap of this are brass, similar to Henry's Golden Boy rifles. The overall length of this revolver is going to be 9 inches with a weight of 34 ounces. The barrel's twist rate is going to be a 1 in 16 twist rate. The sights on this pistol, this utilizes a fixed rear notched sight and a front interchangeable blade. This is kind of cool because while you have the fixed rear notch, you can change out the blade. It's held together with a flathead screwdriver, and you probably could do something like maybe a tritium sight, or you could paint the blade red or green, whatever you want for your Henry revolver. The stock material on this is going to be American walnut, and these are the gunfighter grips. This revolver you can get with a bird's head grip. The safety in this revolver, so this revolver is double action, single action, and what that means is that these revolvers were designed to be fired in double action, meaning you have a really long trigger pull and then it breaks and the firearm discharges. You can shoot this gun in single action, and you would have like if you were doing distance shots, you'd have a much shorter pull with a lot less movement, lot less horizontal and lateral movements. So there is no external safety on this gun. How this gun is designed is for the safety, it's designed and utilizes a transfer bar. So what that means is that if the hammer is cocked back, because this firearm is designed to be carried and used with the hammer forward in double action, it's the safest when it's in double action. So you're probably asking yourself, well, what do you do when the hammer is cocked back? And it's pretty simple. You pretty much are going to hold the hammer with your thumb. You're going to pull the trigger with your index finger, slowly release the hammer and release the trigger at the same time. By doing that, the transfer bar will interfere with the firing pin and the actual action of the gun, so that you don't have an accidental discharge and shoot somebody. This gun is very similar to the K-frame model Smith & Wesson revolver, similar to the Model 19. It does, the cylinder on this gun, when you do shoot it or you actuate it, it does rotate counterclockwise like a Smith & Wesson revolver, not like a Colt revolver, which is clockwise. The cylinder release on this pushes forward, similar to the competition, which is Smith & Wesson. However, I kind of like this because nothing that Smith & Wesson is putting out is as cool as this. You do have a similar crane style where it swings out via the crane, and then you have an ejection rod right here for your spent shell casing. So if you have your shells and they're stuck, you turn it upside down like so, push down on the ejector, and your ammunition, your spent casings will fall out. How you would load this is you pretty much would have your middle finger and your ring finger in the firearm like this, and you would load each cylinder individually, and then you would push on the crane and rotate clockwise to lock this in. Once it's locked in, you're pretty much ready to roll with this firearm. One thing I will note about this, while Henry calls this the Big Boy Revolver, the model of this gun is going to be the H017 GDM Revolver. That's if you're looking for it on their website. This gun's MSRP is going to be $920, okay? But the street value on something like this, if you're going on Gunbroker looking for one of these, it's going to be around $650 to $850. Way better than the competition. This gun, again, is chambered in 357 Magnum and 38 Special. 357 Magnum, obviously, with those loads, you're probably looking at doing a little bit more hunting. Whereas with target shooting, you'd probably want to use 38 special, a little bit lighter of a load. The thing I love about revolvers is that they're fairly simplistic to use, and whether it be for defensive purposes or you're trying to shoot, you're trying to train somebody on how to shoot, they're very mechanically simplistic, and as long as you have good fundamentals with this, you're going to be completely fine. You're going to have a fun day at the range. One thing I would like to note about revolvers, and I say this because experience and life experience, for new traditional shooters, a lot of people are learning how to shoot on auto-loading pistols, like anything that has a reciprocating slide. And traditionally, what people don't understand is that on a revolver, you don't really typically have your thumbs forward. You actually kind of want to have your thumbs to the rear like so, and you want to push down on them. The reason why that is because when you pull the trigger and the firing pin hits the priming component of the casing and ignites the gunpowder and expels a projectile down this barrel, you will have powder that will shoot forward out of their cylinder, and you could potentially burn your thumb. You don't want to do that, obviously. I've done it, and I would not recommend it to anybody. However, as long as you have good fundamentals in shooting, this is a great way to actually hone in your pistol or revolver skills. And I say that because while it's double action and it's designed to be shot in double action, you can have you don't have a lot of movement with it if you really focus in on your trigger skills and your trigger discipline, which is kind of neat because you can be extremely accurate with this, and it's extremely fun to shoot. For new shooters, old shooters, men, women, children, anybody who wants to have a good time, this is a great way to get into revolvers at the right price. And the other neat thing about this revolver from Henry is that they make one called the Golden Boy, and the Golden Boy is actually chambered in 22 short, long, and long rifle. It would be kind of sick. I don't know if Henry's watching this video, but if they are, I'd love to have them send us that out, because that's a great training tool for anybody who's new to firearms, if you're trying to get into firearms, if they're recoil sensitive or they're just trying to have a fun time at the range. The price point on that revolver is MSRP $920. I would assume street price is going to be anywhere between $650 to $850, similar to the 357 variant. With that being said, we want to thank Henry Repeating Arms for sending us this revolver and putting their faith in us. I'm excited to shoot it, and I'm excited to see where it goes with us. Hopefully we can do more work with Henry Repeating Arms in the future. Let's go out to the range and check it out.